Hello and welcome to the Blue Suede News New Year's Day special, where we're going to review the good, the bad and the utterly stupid of the last year. So first of all, I'd like to wish everyone a happy new year, and I'm not going to stretch this out much more. I'm going to bring our guests on. We have Tony Wright, Millie Evans and Ishi Khan.
Hello.
Hello. I'll ask each of you to introduce yourselves. So shall we go to Ishi first?
Oh, hello there. I'm Ishi. It's the busiest time of year for me. I've been elfing, so hello. Nice to see you, everybody.
Okay, let's go to Millie first.
Hi, I'm Millie. I'm not clever with the words or the funnies like the rest of you. And I'm not good with technology like Tony, but I will do my best. I will endeavour to do my best this evening. Happy New Year, everyone. Anyway.
Happy New Year. So, and we'll go now to Tony.
Actually, I'm Millie. I can't believe he's just said that. I'm Millie Evans. I'm the one that's no good with the funnies and the jokes and stuff. So, I don't believe he did that. I feel like I should be able to reach down and an arm come down above your head, Millie.
It does feel like what is it, University Challenge, where you're going to kick me in the head in a minute.
Well, like blankety blank.
So, anyway, we'll just have a look. We've been joined by some people already. If you've joined us to watch the show, by all means, say hello and click on the comments. It is an interactive show, so there is a round of the show where you can suggest news stories for us to discuss. So we've got Ho Ho Ho, Happy New Year from Al Grant.
Hi,
So,
Happy New Year to you too.
Okay, we've got Alex English watching. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Alex. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We've got Peter Batty.
Yay, Pete Batty!
We've got Julie Gearing.
Hello, Julie.
Where's the cake, Julie?
Can't answer
We've
you.
got Nom.
No, hey.
Hey up, Nom. Happy New
Hey up,
Year.
Nom.
Start. This is
Hi,
the
Nom.
start. I know
And
it's
we've got-
a bit like trudging, but
and
it's the start.
And we're joined by Alexandra Krekan, who joined us on the show as a guest at the few weeks ago. So, hi, Alexandra. Nice of you to join us.
Hi, Alexander.
Hi.
Oh, and look, Julie sent us some cake.
Oh, the
Julie.
cake is on Millie's wall. Look, it's like behind Millie.
And Joanne Jervis says, hiya, all Happy New Year. I'll come back to the comments in a bit. Let's crack on with our first round.
What's the story? Morning Glory.
So we're doing a review of 2020. So I'm just going to make it so we can actually see everybody. So we're doing a review of 2020. So what's the biggest story of 2020? So I think the biggest one's got to be the following. Infection by COVID. So who would like to go first? Shall we go to Ishi first?
Oh, I thought that was actual tinsel balls there. Right, okay. I thought tinsel balls are making like a huge, we want to be included all year round rather than just at Christmas. And so 2020 was their year, but obviously not. So, yeah. Sorry, what was the question?
I'm glad you
So,
want to. I want you on myself.
Well, let's go to Millie. We're just discussing COVID. Have you any views on COVID?
Well, I'm not even sure it's real, if you ask me.
Exactly.
I'm joking. I've had it for a week and a half.
No.
And I thought I got rid of it last week, and it's come back with a vengeance yesterday. I dragged myself out of bed to try and have a drink, and I couldn't even force a drink through. So that's how real it is. If I can't have a drink, it's very real.
Oh.
I should stress at this point, this is why we're doing this as a socially distanced show. And we can't get any more socially distanced than Otley, Bradford, Alfreton and Loughborough.
Absolutely.
So, is anyone here in tier 3?
Yeah.
Hell.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
tier
really?
3, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in tier 4.
I was going to say, hell
Spreading the
no.
COVID germs everywhere, tier 4 us.
Oh, well, it's you tier 3ers who's causing it to spread more. You see, us tier 4ers, we're all staying at home and we're safe.
Yeah, well, that's what us arguing. Well, up tier 2ers just have it away with everything.
There's
Oh,
no
there aren't
tier
any
2,
tier.
is there? There's no
There
tier
aren't
2.
any tier 2 areas. There is one tier 1 area,
That's it. It's hardly visible on the map, is it?
and I think that's the Scilly Isles. Right, population's about 2,200, and one of the rules of the tier 1 areas is that you can have up to 4,000 people in a football match. Well, they've buggered that, haven't they?
Yeah. I knew it with the Scilly Isles because I was looking at how much it is to move to the Scilly Isles. Just yesterday. Seriously, they've got like massive houses, like 9-bedroomed houses, like 6-bedroomed houses for nothing. There's nothing to do. But
Yeah, it's a bit difficult to drive from there to a gig, though, isn't it, Tone?
I don't know, you'd have to invent a gig on the Isle, I think.
Do gig from here like this.
I mean, what happens in it like being in lockdown all the time living there if there's nothing to do?
Or maybe what you could do is invest in that latest technology some rock stars are using with the holographic gig, where you can do your gig on the Isle of Scilly, but you appear on a stage in Leicester.
That's a good idea.
Too much technology.
That's a possibility.
Some honest technology today at yesterday's prices. I don't know how we're going to manage.
So, anyway, I tried to write some jokes about COVID, right? And I tried to write some jokes about the vaccine, and I was struggling, but I gave it a shot.
Oh, very good.
So,
I'd tell you a joke about COVID, Roger, but there's a 92% chance you won't get it.
yeah. It's terrible when contortionists catch the coronavirus. They become sick and twisted.
Oh, shocking.
I can do this. So, anyway, Tony, do you want to add anything on the COVID news of the year?
I don't know, because you said it's like a light-hearted comedy-based programme based on the news. And your first question's like, what's funny about the most terrible thing to happen for the last generation? I don't know, maybe that's alternative comedy?
Yep, but it's British sense of humour. It's looking for the light in... I mean, COVID isn't funny, but it is still British sense of humour. You still look for the light in a dark situation because it's good for your mental health.
Yeah. But I haven't got any jokes about it. maybe in 11 years or something like that. You know, when we're on the other side.
Well, if you'd looked up some jokes on Google, you might have been accused of plagiarism.
You see, that's a generic virus joke. If you just said generic virus joke, I'd have come up with something.
So I'll admit that one I nicked off Google purely because I was looking for something to put in at this point, and I lifted that one. So let's. I think we've done the story of the week now. So what we'll do, we'll grab the next round.
Faking it.
In this round, I'll present to each of you a story, and all you have to do is tell me whether it's fake news or real news. So, right. So, who shall go to first for this? I think we'll go to Tony first. Right?
I'll be good at it.
Because, I mean, Tony does tell me he knows everything about whales and dolphins.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
let's give you a new story here.
Oh.
Pink
Okay.
dolphins have returned to Hong Kong waters. There's been a rising number of pink dolphins seen in Hong Kong's Pearl River since March. Right? Basically, due to the coronavirus, there's less water traffic, which has been scaring the dolphins away. So, so there you go.
And now it's a guess if it's true or false.
Have I made that story up? Have pink dolphins returned to Hong Kong because there's less boat traffic? Or is it a real story?
I'd love to think it was for real, that. You know, I'd love to think that's true, because I think it'd be lovely. I didn't know they'd ever left. I missed a bit of news where they left in the first place. But I'm glad they're back. So I'm going to go with true. And I don't think they'll be able to prove that it's not true, because I bet there's one in there somewhere. So technically, unless you can come up, how long's this show? Half an hour. Unless you can prove in half an hour, someone, you know, there isn't one. Unless you dredge that river in the next half hour, I've returned, yeah.
Okay, based on best scientific advice.
As well, you can have a bit of that.
You're saying it's a fact that
It's
pink
an absolute
dolphins
fact, and you
have
can't prove any
returned.
different. I'm saying you can't prove any different.
Let's
fact.
see whether you're right. Tony Wright is right about the whales and dolphins.
Whoa, that's a fake.
News, everybody. Yeah.
That's
Fact
brilliant.
news, everybody. That's fact news.
Yay!
Woo! As
Let's.
soon as I can get out of here, I'm going to go see them.
I didn't know dolphins were pink unless you cooked them. I didn't know what that was about.
Yeah.
Right. The next one I'm going to go to is for Millie.
Oh, yes.
And I know Millie likes his cheesy pop stories.
Oh, like me cheese. More than anything.
Right. And you can't get much more cheesy
Then Millie.
than Jedward.
Oh, sorry.
Jedward found themselves spending lockdown in LA with the American Pie actress Tara Reid. They became good friends on the 8th series of Celebrity Big Brother and had gone to visit her in LA when travel restrictions were put in, and they just stayed.
If I could care less about this story.
Dolphins one were much better.
If I could care less, then I could. I don't know what to say. Is it even a story? I don't think so. Jed would if they could, but they can't. So I don't think it's true. Because I don't think a travel ban would have come in whilst they were over there when it all started. I think the lines are blurred, and I think it's a fake news story.
So you're saying fake.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's fake.
Let's see whether you're right or not.
Oh.
It's a factual story. They are good friends, and the Grimes brothers did spend the first lockdown with Tara Reid, the American Pie actress.
Grief, well, I suppose it was better for them than it was for her, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
Okay, so this leaves us Ishi Khan. So what kind of story have I got for Ishi? Yeah, well, I thought to give you a turkey story.
Oh. Oh.
Right? This
the turkey.
That's many turkeys there.
it's the one at the front of the picture.
Okay.
Okay. Now everybody knows that the turkey corn, this is the turkey corn, had been pardoned in the time-honoured tradition during Thanksgiving by President Trump, and has been retired to the presidential turkey sanctuary in Iowa. Unfortunately, corn turned out to be a very violent turkey and killed Harry the turkey, originally pardoned by President Clinton in 1999, and is now in solitary confinement and may face the table after all.
Oh, what a fluffy tail that is. I mean, I just think, can President Trump even access a heart enough to be pardoning? I don't know.
It's an annual tradition. They do pardon turkeys. That part's a factual part of the story, but they have a choice of 2 turkeys, and this year Corn rather than Cobb was pardoned.
Oh.
But did it go on to attack Harry the turkey, originally pardoned by President Clinton?
Is it a Prince Harry turkey? Because that makes a difference to the story. Oh, I know what you're saying is a tradition, but seriously, President Trump, has he upheld many traditions here? I'm wondering if, Corn the turkey. I can't imagine that turkeys are that violent. Actually, I think the turkey, although if he's symbolic of President Trump, who wants to then, I'm going to go with false. I'm going to go with this is fake news purely because there is a fake person in that picture. The only one not wearing a mask, actually. Yeah, so it's fake. It's fake.
Well, he's trying to catch bird flu.
Oh.
So let's see whether you're right or not. Hey, you got it right, Ishi. Well done. So now, I'm not going to give out points on this show because I don't have an overall winner of the show, and points on this show means sod all.
Hey, points in the prizes, surely.
Yeah, that's not prizes.
No, points on this show means sod all.
Oh,
Sod
right,
all.
okay. Sod all, right, okay.
Okay,
Better than
so
driving.
anyway, let's go and see what the comments are saying.
Oh.
So,
I'm just getting blown off of this.
Peter Batty says he'll sleep knowing that. I'm not sure what he knows now, probably about the pink dolphins. Or that Tony Wright is right.
Oh.
Yeah. I haven't heard that one before. But I mean, he's got skill with the phone next.
Jessica Summer said Jedward. Topical news review. 2020 was worse than I thought. And Julie Gearing has come up with a very, very apt point, which I am aware of. The turkeys that are pardoned don't actually live that long. And my story included a turkey that was killed, which had been pardoned in 1999. That probably only lived for a couple of years, so it wouldn't have made it through to today's and wouldn't have been killed by Cobb.
No way.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, by Corn. Sorry, Cobb has protested the vote, by the way, because he thinks he won. Right. So that's American politics for you. Peter Batty actually says, "What happened to Cobb? I've got no idea. Maybe it's a barn cake."
It's sandwiched between some more fake news, I'd imagine.
So anyway, we will move on now to our next round, which I know is one which you've probably all been looking forward to. I have anyway. So here's the title for it.
Rat of the Week.
Each of our guests has nominated. Now, you either need to open it, or again, you can, Tony.
I'm just pouring it on Millie. Because to me,
Cheers.
Remember, boys and girls, drink responsibly.
yeah. It's alright, that, isn't it, Millie?
Yeah, it's alright, yeah.
Okay, so we're moving on to Pratt of the Week. Each of my guests have nominated a Pratt, so when you see the Pratt revealed, you know it's your nomination. I will say who the Pratt of the Week is, Well, it's actually Pratt of the Year, not Pratt of the Week.
I'm going to say I've been in bed for a week, so I wouldn't even know what's been going on last week.
So this is the Pratts of 2020. Okay. When I reveal the Pratt, I'll then invite you to justify your choice of Pratt of the Year, and you get 45 seconds to justify. So first of all, let's bring the first Pratt of the Year on the screen. Who could it be? It's Boris Johnson.
Oh.
So this is as nominated by Tony Wright. Tony, your 45 seconds starts now.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's a big choice. There's a lot of people to choose from, and it was between this guy, obviously Boris, or it was him or Prince Andrew. But I thought, not Prince Andrew, because I think there's a better word beginning with P than Pratt for him. So Prince, So yeah, I chose Boris because I think he's like the head of a lot of Prattiness, like Pratt Patel and Pratt Hancock and Dominic Pratt, and so I feel like some of the stuff he's done's a bit slow, and calling him a Pratt, letting him off a bit, but
That's your 45 seconds up.
Oh my god, that was so quick. I love how he's coming out of a freezer because, he's obviously really hot, isn't he? So he's cooling down in this freezer.
Well, it could be a couple of things. One is he's gone in there to get his vaccine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or the second was the story early in the year where he hid in a freezer to get away from reporters. In fact, that might have been last year, but I thought I'd freeze him anyway because he deserves it.
In fairness, though, I think I was being I don't like what he's done a lot of the time. He's got to have made some right choices, and so for one thing, I've got to say I've heard. I don't know if it's true, but he's commandeered all the ice cream vans because they can deliver the vaccine, and so you'll be sat in your house, you'll hear Popeye the Sailor Man playing out on the street, you run down the road, trip up, graze your knee, drop the money down the drain, eventually get there and they take sympathy on you, give you a jab. Ice cream went out this time of year, either. Do you know what I mean? It's commandeered, it's common sense, so if that is his idea, well done, I agree with it.
Is that something you just dreamt last night?
You what?
Is that something you just dreamt up last night?
Yeah.
I don't think I dreamt it.
So, anyway, let's move on to our next nomination of Pratt of the Year. Right?
Okay.
This is as nominated by Ishii. So your 45 seconds starts now.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so our story starts with the god Pan. Our god Pan was really sad because he had no followers anymore. Everywhere he looked around, he just saw keep calm and drink tea, keep calm and stay merry. And he was so upset, and he said, the only way people really remember me anymore is not panic. They remember me through pansexual, or I'm such a joke that it's just dead pan. And he said, this is ridiculous. Oh, there we go.
No, that was just a rim shot because he did a joke.
Okay. So he met up with somebody else who was really upset, and that was Mr. Toilet Roll. Mr. Toilet Roll said, I'm so upset because people just dancing.
That's your 45 seconds up.
Oh no! I didn't finish the
had a bit of
story.
injury time. Yeah, there were a bit of injury time.
I gave her another 4 seconds.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I viewed this. Look, I'm in charge, so stop grumbling.
Oh, you want to hear the end of the story?
Go on, finish the story off. I would like to hear the punchline.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure it's a punchline, but there is the editor's story. And they met up with Soap, and Soap said, people don't even use me anymore. They've totally forgotten me. So for Christmas 2019, they looked up to the red sky and they made a wish, and they were given a stress ball. As they made a wish to a star which turned yellow, and the crescent moon turned into 4 little stars as well. And they got this stress ball, and they kept pressing the stress ball, and it wasn't just any stress ball, it was a punk stress ball. So it had all this punk hair. And before you know it, they went, what is your wish? And says, our wish is to go viral. And so 2020 became viral. And the stress ball got so much attention that it was the coronavirus. And soon panic was no longer remembered as much as coronavirus. So panic became the biggest prat of 2020.
Wow. Very interesting. I mean, I know there was a lot of panic buying in 2020 as well. I mean, it's because all the toilet rolls sold out because everyone shit themselves about COVID.
Yep.
So and those people who panic bought pasta were totally insane.
Oh God! Oh dear.
I went into holiday agents. I tried to panic buy an holiday. It is so hard, to run around screaming, trying to book a fortnight in Tenerife. Quick! It's nigh on impossible. I've tried panic buying lots of things, and it's just like rubbish.
Yeah, what gets me with the panic buying is that when they, stop too many people going to the shops. And it was difficult to actually panic buy properly because you couldn't go into certain sectors if somebody else was in there. It's like playing drafts.
Yeah. Where I live, it's very posh with the panic buy books, stuff like that.
So, anyway, let's see the third prat of the week, which has to be Millie's.
I agree with that.
Millie, you've chosen Matt Hancock.
Matt Hancock, right.
Your 45 seconds starts now.
All right, Matt Hancock has always been a hyperactive, over-enthusiastic man boy who seems to think he's the greatest gift. His greatest gift is telling people what he thinks they want to hear. Well, we all know that his greatest gift is brown-nosing his way to his next faux pas, whether it's referring to Marcus Rashford as Daniel Rashford, whether it's saying things like, now is not the time to talk about the NHS. But the biggest reason why he's the prat of the year is because of that bit where he started crying on the telly the other day when the first vaccine was administered. When he put the single finger to an eye that were drier than bloody Paddy McGuinness's New Year's big night in last night, which was shocking. And we all know what he ended up looking like was a stepdad trying to see the whereabouts of his daughter when he knows full well that she's buried under the patio, and that's what he looked like, and that's why he's the prat of the year.
Very good.
Amazing.
So I did catch up with Matt Hancock to ask him what he felt like being nominated for Prat of the Year. How do you feel about being nominated for Prat of the Week?
It's very good to have me on. Thank you very much.
So that was Matt Hancock, Millie's Prat of the Year. So all very, very good. But I'm going to do a change to the normal show format here, because I'm going to nominate a Prat of the Year.
Yay!
And what I'll do, once I've done my nomination and my speech, our audience can type in the comments who they think the Prat of the Year is, and I'll look at the comments, and from the comments I'll then make a choice. So it's not going to be my choice, it's the audience's choice. So audience, get ready. Once you hear the klaxon, at that point in time, as fast as you can, type who you think the Prat of the Year should be, and we'll look at the scores and see who's won this round. I love how I have a show where points mean sod all, yet it becomes quite competitive. So it does make me smile. So my nomination for Prat of the Year, I can't believe anyone else didn't choose him. Dominic Cummings. I was amazed none of you chose Dominic Cummings. So I'm just going to set my timer up.
We saved
Right.
it for you.
Once the top advisor in the country, some people said he actually ran the country. I totally lost respect when he not only drove to Durham for childcare. You know, how on earth can someone so high up in the government be worried about childcare? Don't they have special services for that in the police or something like that, where he could have put his children if he was totally struck down with COVID? I'm sure he wouldn't have had a problem with childcare being in his position. But as he was recovering, he drove to Barnard Castle to check, so he says, his eyesight. Right? He should have checked his foresight, that people wouldn't be upset at such a stupid story. And you know what? I've totally run out of time on my 45 seconds because my 45 seconds is up. I had a final line. Well, he only concocted the story when he was caught being a prat by the news and had to concoct a story as to why his trip to Barnard Castle was allowed. So, absolute idiot. You know, if you cannot read a number plate, I mean, on my driving test, one of the first tests you had on a driving test was to read a number plate. And if you failed to read the number plate, you weren't allowed to take your driving test. So, you know,
he stayed in an house that didn't exist according to the council tax. It hasn't existed for many years. And when they said, "Oh yeah, it's a house," I said, "Oh well, you have to pay council tax." And they dodged how many years? Tens of thousands of pounds. He's not some lass who's struggling who's got in prison because she ain't paid for it. You know what I mean? She ain't paid 800 quid or something. So, yeah, I'm with you, Roger. Got him.
Yeah. I mean, where in the highway code does it say to test your eyesight, drive to the nearest castle? It doesn't. I mean, the Queen won't have a problem.
Yeah.
So she can see the castle where she is. So it's ridiculous. So let's have a look. We've had a lot of love for Millie's arguments.
Yes.
That's me voting for you, Millie. I voted for 3 separate phones.
But counting, yeah, we've had couple of people voting for Millie by the looks of it. Yeah, Matt. My friend Alex Leam does look a little bit like Matt Hancock, especially if he pulls a certain face. So that's why that comment came up. We've got a couple of people saying Dominic Cummings. People saying Matt Hancock. Dominic was a puppet. Oh, I like this one. Dominic was a puppet master of the Pratt. Boris Johnson is the Pratt. So I think Jessica's gone for Boris Johnson there. David goes Matt Hancock. I'm with Millie. We've got another vote for Boris. Oh, and we've got another vote for Hancock.
Ooh.
So,
very tight. Very tight.
Right,
Very
Roger, I'm getting news in that there's a load of votes for Boris have just been found in the bin in Otley. There's thousands of them. Boris has totally smashed it.
Are you saying we should?
Quippy has ever had as many votes as Boris, and he's staying on that screen until people admit he's won.
Looking at the votes from our viewers,
good point.
I'm afraid it's gonna go to Matt Hancock.
Yay!
Matt Hancock is the Blue Suede News Pratt of 2020.
Oh, it was a tough
one, that. Really tough one.
We haven't got all the votes in yet, and Boris is strong in some areas.
Stop the count. Stop the count.
Stop the count.
So I will recheck the comments towards the end of the show, but I don't think that's going to change.
What were you using? What program were you using for collecting these votes?
I was using my eyes and the people who'd commented.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. And
oh.
his eyes got wide. Unlike you when you tell his tales, Anthony.
Okay. This is the point in the show where our viewers can nominate some stories for us to look at. Right. But whilst I'm waiting for some of those nominations, will you two behave yourselves? Whilst I'm waiting for our viewers to highlight some stories they want to discuss, right? This is the first story I thought I'd bring up on the screen for us to. Oh, actually, I haven't done the. You're putting me off now. I need to do the next round titles.
The good, the bad, and the utterly stupid.
In this round, we just look at some of the news stories from 2020. I've picked 3, I think it is. But by all means, if you're watching the show, please comment and give us some stories to discuss. But the first story I just wanted to discuss. The first story.
Like you say, one of us is good, one of us is bad, and one of us is ludicrous.
I did that I used that joke on the first show. So, although they all nominated themselves as utterly stupid.
Oh no.
So, anyway, this is the first story I've chosen from 2020 that I loved at the time, and I'm pretty sure you had this story, didn't you, Ishi, originally? Or
Yes.
Right.
It was a bit of a red herring, Roger.
It was on Faking It round. Right.
Yes.
A sculpture of a whale prevented a whaleway disaster in Holland.
Whaleway disaster.
A train crashed through the stop barriers at the final station of the Akkers in Spijkenisse near the Dutch port city of Rotterdam. The accident occurred on a raised platform 10 metres off the ground, where the carriage would have easily plummeted into the water below if it wasn't for the tail of the whale. So I also chose to look at this story. Have you got any comments on this, Tony, seeing you're the expert on whales and dolphins?
I just think it's amazing that they were there at the right time. But that's the beauty of whales and dolphins. They're intelligent. They've got an intelligence that we don't have. And so the fact that we're cruel to them, and yet they're still willing to dash into the middle of Holland and save a train from crashing, I think really big up the whales. I think they're wonderful.
Yeah. It is a bit of a tall tale, this story.
Oh, good.
So, do you want to add anything, Millie, seeing you know about whales and dolphins as well?
I'm not good with the whales and dolphins like Tony is. He only has to shout them out and people reply it back in the masses to him. Is this a real story or was it fake news? I don't. It was a real story. Is this true?
It is a true story. We're not on the Faking It round.
Oh, right.
When I first featured this story, it was on the Faking It round.
Oh, right.
And if I remember right, Ishi said it was fake and it was actually a real story.
It's an amazing story, actually.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did
We're
they
trying to
survive?
save the whales and the dolphins, and they're trying to save us in return.
No, they're amazing.
Did they survive?
Amazing creatures.
Yeah, the people on the train survived.
What about the whales?
Well, they're sculptures, so they were never alive in the first place.
Oh, you didn't say that. Oh.
That was the red herring, you see, because I said, yes, it's true. And he said, well, they weren't real. So that was the red herring. I remember now. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
They look very real.
Caught me out.
I've had a comment from one of our viewers saying I need to drive to a castle to get my eyes tested. and
Yeah.
I've been told, I've got people demanding a recount.
Yeah, told you.
Right.
And Chantel says, got to wait for Royal Mail votes to come in. Yeah, we'll be waiting a long time.
Oh, it's a confession. Oh, I made a vote. I wasn't allowed to vote. Oh, I voted. Sorry. That's
So,
totally messed it up, hasn't it?
So, I'll tell you what, we'll do one of the viewer story. Right. Apparently, there was a Yorkshire Blair Witch video found of a Mr. and Mrs. episode gone wrong. Fans fear for the safety of Tony and Millie as they run into darkness.
I've heard about that. I've heard about this video.
I think.
Very scary.
Yeah, that sounds extreme. That sounds extreme. That should be something that we should be panicking about, actually, more than coronavirus, to be honest. I think, that's a massive threat.
Tone, drop your head down. Drop your head down. See if we can do it. I'll be. Go on, you need to go down further so your head's on my shoulders.
I know what they're trying to do here.
Yes. Oh my goodness, how scary is that? Necklace. What do you think you are, a rugby player?
Let's. I mean,
that invited on to University Challenge. That and we couldn't answer any of the questions.
Oh, that'd be brilliant. Which one would be on Scumbag? So, right, the next story which I've picked is. I've just got it with a line. The only thing that seemed to go on longer than the American election was selecting a new leader of the Labour Party. Right? At the start of the year, Labour were completely ineffective in that they had Corbyn stood up there in Parliament. He was trying to ask questions, but you could tell his heart wasn't in it and nobody else has cared. So anyone else has a view on how long it took to get Keir Starmer in as Labour leader?
Well, I mean, look at the pained look on his face. I think, it's only like he's so upset, isn't he? Or he's so, I don't know. It's a pained look, isn't it? It could be through constipation. I don't know. But he's got nice rosy cheeks there. I think that's ready for Christmas, maybe. But yeah, maybe that's the delay.
He's got a look on his face saying, "How long am I going to have to play party politics for the next 12 months?" It's his favourite game at the minute. I do want to like him, but he disagrees with anything that happens within minutes, isn't he? So.
It's like if he went for a cooler vibe and call himself, instead of Keir Starmer, if he went for like K Stammer, do you know what I mean? Like KK Stammer, something a bit more upbeat, like MC Hammer, do you know what I mean? He could have a bit of music going on, get on with the kids. Trouble is it's not Jeremy Corbyn, is he? And
he's not Jeremy Corbyn.
It's not. And do you know what people say when they say, "Oh, Boris," because Boris isn't a great prime minister. Who trusts him? Nobody, right? But people who voted for him, they feel like they have to defend the choice they made. But he's not Corbyn. They say, "What was the choice?" Corbyn, and I say, "Yeah, he was. He was quite a good, kind gentleman." Do you know what I mean? He wasn't an aggressive politician. And so now we have to go back to being like Boris Johnson by giving him a Tory in a red tie. So I think he needs to go left. That's what I'm saying.
He does need to go left, and if he needs to clear his nose, I think if he cleared his nose, people might take him a bit more seriously. They're talking like this, like he bugged up nose all the time.
Yeah, change his nose and get that name going. KK Stammer in the house. Yeah. Do you know?
KK, just two, only 2 Ks, not no more. That's not going to do that.
If only I knew you were going to do that, I'd have put a gold chain around his neck.
KK Stammer coming at you in the house. Yo, Boris Jobo. Hey.
Okay, we've had one of our viewers suggest a story, which is quite apt, really. The story he suggests is the 2 vaccine story. But oddly enough, I did have a story lined up, which was about COVID and the vaccine.
Beg your pardon.
So, this is about the vaccines. I mean, the first vaccine, the American one,
Pfizer.
how ridiculous it has to be stored at -80. The government is, the government still it's because it's a very fragile vaccine. The actual vaccine itself is stored within a globule of oil, and if they don't store it at -80, it breaks down and the vaccine becomes useless. Okay, and they can take so many out at a time, let them defrost, but then they have to be used that day.
Oh my God.
This is pretty much why they're doing the Pfizer vaccinations in hospitals, where they've got some storage facilities.
Yeah, it's called a morgue.
We've all seen the news recently that the Oxford vaccine has got approval, and that's the one that can be stored in a normal fridge.
Do you know what this seems like? This seems like a massive conspiracy to get the economy back by selling lots of refrigerators for everybody. So so we can all find like ice blocks and massive fridges being sold to big organisations and the NHS. Really, I think it's a massive conspiracy for refrigeration.
And then Boris Johnson's gone full circle, hasn't he, from starting in a fridge and then to endorsing them.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I know how they could actually both vaccinate everyone really quickly and help the pubs out, because pubs have fridges. Why did they open every pub up as a vaccination centre?
Jabbing a pint.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, everyone in Bradford were like, I'm not having jab. And then someone went, it's free. And went, I'll have like two. I'll get
Yeah, but just imagine if they put them in the Weatherspoons. People would definitely go in there. You can only have a pint if you have a jab.
Well, I had to go for my test the other day at Richard Dunn Sports Centre, which is now a defunct sports centre. But anybody that swum in that swimming bath will surely be free from getting the virus anyway, because it was so disgusting. I suppose that's already, you're already all right if you swam in Richard Dunn Sports Centre. You'll be fine. It's ironic they're now doing the test from there. Funny, because I came with a condom stuck to the bottom of my foot as well, just like when I used to go swimming there. And just go to, of course not.
You'd see people stood at reception saying, has anyone handed a condom in?
And have you found me tongue piercing?
Oh, God.
Oh my word.
So I don't seem to have any other suggestions of stories.
My mate had a really good idea about getting the vaccine out. He said, you get all the tour managers that are unemployed at the moment, they'll organise a crew, and they'll set up in a venue, you'll go in, you'll have your jab, it'll all run smooth as clockwork, because the tour managers aren't busy at the moment, and they'll be able to deal with all them people who are like, I'm not having a jab if he's in room. I'm not having a jab unless you put my special carpet down for me to stand on while you do it. I'm not having a jab unless there's blue Smarties, do you know what I mean? And they'll be able to deal with all that kind of shit, and they'll get everyone to have a jab. My mate Mike, it's his idea, and vote for him. Andy's a right good laugh as well.
Well, we've had a suggestion for using Bloomfield Square as a vaccination centre.
Oh, we have to say other coffee shops are available at this point.
Once again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, if you've drank Tony's coffee, then you're probably already vaccinated already.
You're embarrassed. You live forever after a cup of my coffee, I'm telling you, lad.
Oh, if you can survive that, you can survive anything, right?
Being a musician that owned a coffee shop in 2020 was the best move I ever made.
So, anyway, I'm just going to pop a banner on the screen because I do this every week when I do this show. And I'm an eternal optimist when I put this banner up on the screen. I do hope that people will tip us and because these shows aren't free to put on, and if I do receive any tips, I will split it amongst the guests.
I'll drop it a little bit. I'll drop it a bit if you want, Roger. I'll drop my fee a bit if you want.
So, it's paypal.me/Roger Poulter if you do want to tip the show.
Tip him.
So,
tip him hard and fast. Look at him, he's on his last legs, that lad. He's hardly been working all year. Oh, no.
So I'm going to hide that. If you want to see that, you can actually wait till the show goes into catch-up, and then you'll be able to rewind and watch this banner again and pick up the paypal.me/Roger Poulter. So if you go onto PayPal, well, just type that in, you'll be able to send us a tip.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, time flies. We're on to the last round of the show.
What?
I predict a riot!
In this round, I ask each of my guests to make a prediction about what will happen in 2021. This can be somebody's dying. We do already have a list on the Blue Suede News Deadpool. So if you say someone who's already been selected, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to make another choice. Or it can be an event that's going to happen during 2021. So let's go to Millie first. Yeah, I'm all right.
Are you sure? Passing COVID right through there. I know it's that way, innit? COVID to you. My predictions for 2021, more of the same. I think we're all going to be stuck in the houses for the next 4 months until we're nearly going to get... I predict that there'll be some vaccines going about. I predict that some people get vaccines. I predict some people won't get vaccines. And I predict by November, there'll be the first gig of the year done. And by December, we'll all be back in Tier 7. There you go.
Well, because the virus has mutated into a form that the vaccines no longer works.
Yeah, there's a new strain that's coming and the vaccine needs to be kept at minus 150, and we just don't have the power for that.
Wow.
Okay, let's go to Ishi for your prediction.
Okay, I think Prime Minister Boris Johnson's going to start a trend to have his salary as a pay what you want deal. And when he does that, then all government officials will follow, and there will be a pay what you want salary for everybody in government. I think that's going to be a massive change for us. Yeah.
Will this be a rebate scheme?
A rebate scheme?
Yeah. So if I think Boris is worth minus £50,
yeah,
do I get 1/65 millionth of that £50?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I mean, not obviously 100%, but 165, whatever,
1/65 millionth.
165 millionth. Yes, absolutely. But it's going to be paid through PayPal. It's going to be based on a pay what you want basis, which will be, and only based on the actions they take as well. So that will be quite interesting. Yeah.
Sounds brilliant. Mm-hmm. So, Tone, what's your prediction for 2021?
I don't even know what's happening tomorrow. I reckon...
You know what's happening now, Tony?
I'm looking up at you, Tone. See what words of wisdom you're coming out with.
I think we'll probably all split the country into such a way that all those that think one way will live on one side of the country, and everyone who thinks the other way will live on the other side of the country, so we won't have to cross paths. And we'll like, in Yorkshire, we might be Scottish. I looked up a thing today, like you do, and Doncaster's in Scotland. Doncaster's part of Scotland. And in Scotland, they refer to it as Bonnie Donny.
All right.
So I think that might happen.
Another Anthony True story.
Joe Biden will get in as America.
Maybe every region should
and then,
declare
either that or
independence.
that'd be quite good, but I think we do run the risk of we'll just be where they send all the poorly people from the rest of the world. Like we will be Blake Island.
Where will the border
really.
line be, Tony? Where will it be? Will it be like? I think that's already in place, isn't it? Like north is anywhere north of the River Thames, and then south is south of the River Thames.
They used to actually say north was north of the Trent,
Oh,
and south was south of the Trent.
the trouble is, people in London won't even know that there's something called Trent.
What we could do though is just turn the M25, fill the M25 up with water, so it's like London's just a big moat, and then they can have their own independence, and we'll leave them to it.
Yes, I like that. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fill it with water. Then we'd have to go on M25. They're their own thing. It's fine.
It's like a dam.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Nice.
A moat.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Crocodiles in it.
That's cool.
We can't get in.
So,
They can't get out. More importantly.
I think it will. I think either that. Maybe we'll rejoin the EU. Maybe that'll happen.
You think? Hmm.
Imagine.
That'd be brilliant.
I think there'll be a big movement for it.
It's already causing too much bother at the minute.
You've got a point there, actually, Tony.
Maybe.
'Cause, like,
Maybe we'll
what-
get.
what if it's all the people who voted leave that actually get coronavirus and die? And then they have to have a revote.
Because they're not wearing masks. They're all the anti-vaxxers, aren't they? Well, I don't know who they are. And in fairness, none of us knew what we were voting for.
No.
Nigel Farage said heads and tails, and we just can't help ourselves because we're British. So we all shouted aside, and some of us are absolutely amazed that we got it right, and it's the best win we've ever had in our lives. And the others were just really bitter because we chose tails.
Yeah.
That's what it was. They didn't
We
say
are-
this might happen, that might happen. We didn't have 2 years of anyone understanding it.
Yeah.
So maybe
We are-
will restart.
We are a very divided country.
Very.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, on that downer, though we've come to the end of our New Year's special Blue Suede News.
Oh, that was
So I'm going to go.
wonderful.
I'm going to go to each of my guests and ask them if they've got anything they would like to plug or promote. So we'll go to Ishi first.
Yes, I've got a. Let me show you. I've got a pink plug right here. Oh, there we go. There's the. There you go. That's it.
Okay, let's go to Tone.
So what are you doing?
He's tried to do his Muppet impression, I think.
Oh, right, there we go.
Tone, have you got anything you want to promote? Or is he pretending to buffer?
Yeah, he's probably pretending to be.
I did that ages ago. Have we got else to promote? We're going to do another one of his gigs online. This time, do our second album, aren't we, Millie? Do you know about this yet? We're going to do the second album,
How good was
Walnut
that?
Dash.
We're going to do that.
Fantastic! It was a.
Hang on.
Nice. That's a cool cover.
This one here, this one. Thank you. It was drawn by a friend of ours, Drew Millward. It's like
Oh,
he's well
wow.
cool. He does loads of bands. So we'll be doing that mid-January, I suppose. Watch this Facebook. It's Facebook.
Oh,
That'll be
cool.
fantastic. So
Tony Wright on Facebook. We put it on there because we're rubbish at computers, aren't we, Miller?
Yeah, but if you haven't bought it yet, I've still got something. I'm in my studio actually at the minute, so
You don't need a plan. Thank you.
so I can just happen to have some here.
Have you been paying him in CDs, Tony?
He has, hasn't it? That one, and also that one. Some brilliant songwriting, co-songwriting on some of these tracks there. But if you want some really, look at this. I found this on my shelf there. Imagine that. That's a three-piece band I was in years ago. Butterfinger. You should check them out. They were brilliant. 2002. That's from. That's when. Check that out.
I'm amazed you haven't dropped it.
I've been.
There's a song called Psycho Bitch on there. It's great.
What's that? What's that?
Right for you, Tone. Right for you.
So, are you going to be out touring at all, Millie, and in the future?
When are we going to be out? We've actually got some gigs in January, but I'm sure we can't be doing them now. We're all in tier 58.
No, we can play as long as we involve Scotch eggs in the act. I've had an idea. You'll love it.
Not again. I'm.
Yeah, they went for miles.
I don't need Scotch eggs, not since the operation.
So anyway, we're at the end of the show. Thank you very much for joining this show as guests. It's been brilliant having you all. So thank you very much, Tony Wright, Millie Evans, and Ishi Khan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
This has been Blue Suede News review of 2020. Thank you for watching, and please come back again next week when it'll be a normal review of the last 7 days. And it's 9 PM next week. So, good night.
Good night.